back. And I'm always like cringing. Silly. I'm like, oh no, okay.
The things that were my problems back when I was a child.
Good times, right?
Well, coming up right now on Good Morning Northwest, the Benton County Sheriff's Office releases more information about a deadly crash from the 4th of July that killed a deputy prosecutor. We have the details.
And the missing 2-year-old girl from Pullman found safe after not being returned to her mother back on June 3rd. An update to the story we've been following for weeks.
Hundreds of Kennewick irrigation customers left without water. What the district is saying about the cause.
Today could be one of the hottest days of the year. I'll tell you just how hot, and I'll tell you how to stay safe in the heat. That's going to be coming up right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest, on your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Jill Sperling. It is Tuesday, July 9th.
Jill, it's still hot out there, and it's only getting hotter. And it's hot in the studio
every
for
day
once.
Now. It's
hot. Getting worse.
I know.
Triple digits, maybe?
110, maybe?
Maybe. Let's check with our expert, Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Good morning, Josh. How should people be preparing for this extreme heat today?
Good morning. Yeah, there's only so many different ways to say it's going to be hot, but it is going to be very hot for today. We'll show you how to prep for that in just a second. For this morning, 50s and 60s for the Kittitas and Yakima Valleys, also 50s and 60s for the lower Columbia Basin, and we're now on the cusp of 70 degrees in places like Pendleton and Walla Walla. A little bit later today, again, very hot stuff, 110 for Tri-Cities, 110 for Hermiston. Had some comments here or there saying, well, this is normal stuff for Eastern Washington. Okay, maybe a heat wave like this is normal, but for the day today, this is about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. And just to kind of underscore that, heat is the deadliest weather phenomenon in the United States. It beats every other weather phenomenon by at least a 2-to-1 metric. So this is very serious stuff for today. If you're going to walk the pets, be sure to do that in the morning. The earlier the better. Be sure that the kids are hydrated. Be sure that you're taking plenty of breaks in the shade. And of course, check on those vulnerable populations, especially the elderly.
Thank you, Josh. To your top stories now. Hundreds of Kennewick Irrigation District customers had no water this past weekend.
And it's not due to the new mandatory watering schedule the district just implemented. Our Austin Reed gets to the bottom of the issue.
Over the weekend, hundreds of KID customers experienced this when turning on their sprinklers or hoses.
Think of it in terms of you know, writing with a pencil. We've all done that. You might be writing an essay, writing down some notes. You make a mistake. Well, in this case, when a mistake occurs, you're not allowed to rectify it, or you can't rectify it for up to 60 hours.
Due to drought conditions worsening in our area, KID is utilizing a mandatory schedule this summer. That started on Sunday, July 7th. The district still anticipates this schedule to run at least through the month of July. But on Monday morning, hundreds of calls started coming into the KID dispatch center about something entirely different.
Going into Friday and certainly into Saturday, the river itself was lowering, as well as then KID's supply. But the summary is that the Bureau of Reclamation, who both operates the system and supplies our water, there was a system issue, and that system issue resulted in basically a hole in the system, and that entire hole in the system, so the lack of water, landed on KID's doorstep.
Due to the inadvertent action by the Bureau of Reclamation, some customers still have no water. And that could be the story for the next 48 to 72 hours from now. So it's not a terrorist attack.
It is decidedly not an attack by anyone, anything.
The hole introduced into the KID supply was approximately 35 cubic feet per second, which is a flow rate. It is the equivalent of approximately 16,000 gallons per minute. At this flow rate, it would take roughly 90 seconds to fill the average size backyard pool. For total volume, the district could express this as approximately 70 acre-feet per day, which is roughly 23 million gallons.
It's the culmination of July 4th weekend, long weekend, extremely hot temperatures. My apologies, I probably brought the heat from Arizona with me. And we're on a mandatory schedule, and all of a sudden, it seems like my system's not operating. Now, of the phone calls we got, about 50% of those, if you take a look at the region, wasn't a result of lack of pressure or necessarily lack of water in the system. It was probably clogged with vegetation and a few other things. There were a few, however, we had exhausted some of our in-stream storage, and so they were affected by this little bit of a hole. But again, we expect that to be resolved in the next 48 to 72 hours.
In 2015, the mandatory watering schedule lasted about 2.5 months. KID says conservation efforts do make a difference. An update now to a story we've been following for weeks. A missing 2-year-old girl has been found safe in Mexico more than a month after her father, Aaron Ong of Moscow, Idaho, failed to return her to her mother on June 3rd.
Ong is now being held in Arizona, awaiting extradition back to Whitman County on a warrant for custodial interference. A few days before Ong and his daughter went missing, so did his fiancée, Nadia Cole of Pullman, Washington. She disappeared from SeaTac Airport on May 29th and was found with them in Mexico. Cole was deported back to the U.S.
The three were detained about an hour-and-a-half drive south of the border at a roadside checkpoint over the weekend. As of now, the 2-year-old is in the care of Arizona Child Protective Services. Detectives are working to reunite her with her mother.
In another follow-up, the Benton County Sheriff's Office has released more information about a crash on the 4th of July that killed a deputy prosecutor, his wife, and 2 of their 3 children.
The sheriff's office says it appears the deputy prosecutor, Bradley Bartlett, did not stop at the intersection of Travis Road and Sellards Road. A man driving west on Sellards Road was also involved in the crash. The sheriff's office says it does not appear that either driver was under the influence, and it does appear that everyone was wearing seatbelts.
The second driver and the deputy prosecutor's young son were the only ones to survive the crash. Both are now out of the hospital.
We turn to fire news now. Kennewick fire crews were called out to battle yet another fire along Columbia Park Trail yesterday afternoon. It's the second fire in that area within less than a week.
Fire crews responded to Columbia Park near the abandoned campgrounds around 2 p.m. The fire was under control within an hour and only a small area was burned. Firefighters don't know the cause of the fire just yet.
Pyrotechnics at the gorge are blamed for starting a brush fire Saturday night.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office says the fire started during the Odessa show Saturday night. Staff at the gorge were able to get the fire out before it caused too much damage, but the Sheriff's Office says the rest of the concert had to be canceled.
It was the last show of Odessa's The Last Goodbye tour. They posted this picture on social media yesterday morning saying, quote, "We truly wish we could have played our encore for you, but safety is always our #1 priority." Also adding, "We are also so appreciative to our fans for following protocol and understanding that everyone's collective safety comes first."
Straight ahead on Good Morning Northwest, West Nile virus has been detected in Yakima County.
West Nile is typically spread to people through the bite of an infected mosquito, and most of the time it doesn't cause any symptoms. When we come back, we look at what the Yakima Health District is recommending you to do to help avoid those pesky mosquito bites. That's all coming up in your health headlines.
The extended 4th of July sale at Furniture Row is on now, and the savings are explosive. Best of all, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, plus 5 years, no interest financing. But hurry, the extended 4th of July sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
Vegas action is closer than you think. The fun is waiting for you at Nob Hill Casino. Come in and pull up a chair at your choice of blackjack, pie gow, heads up hold'em, or high card flush, and play with the friendliest dealers in town. Join our Players Club to take your game to the next level and earn rewards for food, bowling, prizes, and cash. There's always a spot for you at Nob Hill Casino, where the locals play.
Are you suffering from stomach pain, a sprained ankle, or does your child have cold or flu-like symptoms? When sudden illness or minor injuries occur, Astria Rapid Care is here for you. Our providers can see you right away with no appointment necessary. Astria Rapid Care is the place for minor emergencies, sprains, cuts, and more, with convenient locations in Prosser, Sunnyside, and Toppenish. Astria Health, exceptional rural health care close to home.
Join us Saturday, July 20th in historic downtown Prosser for the 20th annual Prosser Art Walk and Wine Gala. Sip award-winning wines and craft beer while strolling creations from artisans throughout the Pacific Northwest. Enjoy live music and a variety of food trucks for an evening not to be missed. Tickets are just $20 and on sale now at tourprosser.com/artwalk.
I grew up picking cherries right here in this orchard. Bumps and bruises on us, never on them. If only Congress worked that way. Professional politicians look out for themselves, while working families suffer from inflation, open borders, drugs, and crime. We can do better. We can secure our border and make life affordable again by picking better people to fight for us in Congress. I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Shop and save during the extended 4th of July sale at Denver Mattress. Right now, save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or check out the Summit, just $299.99. Plus 5 years no interest and free shipping. But hurry, the extended 4th of July sale at Denver Mattress ends soon.
Take off over a fun park. Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. A health alert for our region this morning. West Nile has been detected in a mosquito pool in Yakima County. West Nile virus is spread to people through the bite of an infected mosquito. Most of the time, the virus does not cause any symptoms, but about 1 in 150 people will develop a severe illness affecting the central nervous system. The Yakima Health District says so far it had no reports of people or animals infected with the virus. The West Nile virus positive mosquito pool was collected from the Sunnyside unit of the Sunnyside Snake River Wildlife Area. It's the first detected in Washington this year, and the district says people should avoid mosquito bites by using an EPA-registered repellent. Also wear loose-fitting, long-sleeved shirts outside, and make sure you have tight-fitting screens on windows and doors. Also get rid of any standing water around your home, as this is where mosquitoes like to lay their eggs. In more health news, federal health authorities are warning that COVID has been on the uptick nationwide. Juan Gutierrez, a clinic services supervisor at the Ben Franklin Health District, says it hasn't hit the Tri-Cities yet.
Here locally, we haven't seen a major surge, so levels have continued to maintain low, but we are closely monitoring to see if there's any changes. One of the best things you can do to be preventative is to have good hand washing technique, maintaining a good distance between individuals, masking when appropriate, when you're having respiratory symptoms like cough, fever, sore throat.
Gutierrez says you should take at least 20 seconds to wash your hands, and don't forget in between the fingers, the top of your hands, and your thumbs. Also, if you avoid touching your face, you can help keep the virus from getting into your body. Gutierrez also says it's also a good time to think about getting your vaccinations up to date, and that's for the upcoming school year.
A lot of students right now are getting letters sent home from the school districts about what vaccines they need to be caught up with. And with the amount of appointment availability here being kind of sparse, it's kind of difficult to get a doctor's appointment right now. It's important to get on the schedule with your local provider or at a community clinic so that you can get those vaccines well in advance and not have any holdups with the upcoming school year.
In order to avoid a long wait, you are encouraged to schedule your appointment as soon as possible. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, the heat is turning up and hardware stores on the west side of the state are now struggling to keep up with the demand for fans and air conditioners. We've got the story when we come back. But first, our weather locally. Chief Meteorologist Josh Culbreth has that. Keep it here. We will be right back.
Have you heard about refractive lens exchange? K2 Vision RLE means no glasses, no contacts, and no readers permanently. And you'll never develop a cataract.
No glasses or readers. K2 Vision RLE.
Every food you love is good food. And the foods we love, they're all a little different. At Yolks, we believe food is meant to be made just the way you like it. So whether it's filling you up, or giving you comfort, or trying something new, it's all good if you're making something you love. Whatever you're into, we've got you at Yolks Fresh Market.
When it comes to your health, timing is everything. Health First Urgent Care is your reliable healthcare solution, locally owned and operated, providing care to our community. With locations in Pasco and Richland, we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No need to wait in long lines or rush to the ER for minor concerns. At Health First Urgent Care, we've got you covered with on-site x-rays and short wait times. Your health is our priority. Walk-ins are welcome. You can get the care you need when you need it. Health First Urgent Care, because your well-being comes first.
Communist China poses an economic and national security threat to America.
And Dan Newhouse is the leader in Congress fighting for our security.
Dan stood up to Communist China and wrote the bill to stop them from buying up American farms and ranches.
And Dan's working to secure the border and stop the flow of deadly Chinese fentanyl through Mexico and into our communities.
Where Joe Biden fails us, Dan Newhouse fights for us.
I'm Dan Newhouse, and I approve this message to stand up to Communist China and to secure our border.
Stop thinking, let things happen, and be the ball. Better yet, see the ball with K2 Vision RLE. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Take off for a bird's eye view of a fun riverside park.
We bring our bikes down here, we walk down here, and then when mommy's tired, we drive down here.
Fly the Northwest.
It's a huge asset. I really enjoyed.
Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Dermatologists say that sleeping on wet hair can be very damaging.
How bad is it?
It's so bad.
Next Live, Ray Romano and Kate Upton from Dress My Tour.
Today at 9 on Apple Valley News Now.
This newscast sponsored by Mariano Morales Law. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We're still seeing some pretty mild temperatures out there for this morning with 50s and 60s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. Also 50s and 60s for the lower Columbia Basin, and then mid to upper 60s for the foothills of the Blues. And some temperatures sensors out here are already reporting temperatures up into the 70s. And that really underscores how hot it's going to be a little bit later today, as we'll be about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. That means we'll be near 110 for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. We'll likely breach 110 degrees in the lower Columbia Basin, and the mid to upper triple digits for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. Plenty of sunshine for today, but it could be some filtered hazy sunshine, given that we do have the Pioneer Fire that is still burning very hot to our north, just outside or just off of Lake Chelan. Some of that is going to drift down and impact us for today. I don't think it's going to have a significant impact on air quality, but we'll keep very close tabs on that. So today is going to be dangerous for a couple different reasons. Number one, the heat is obviously going to be dangerous, but number two, the fire conditions and the fire situation, that's going to be pretty dangerous as well. As fire fuel energy for today compared to historical values, going to be up into the 98th percentile for Kittitas and Yakima counties, up into the 96th percentile for the lower Columbia Basin, and up into the 95th percentile for the Blue Mountains. So please, please, please exercise extreme fire safety for today, and we'll have more to say about that coming up a little bit later in the show. For tonight, I'm thinking that the haze mainly just gets confined to the lower Columbia Basin, to the foothills of the Blues, and to the Blue Mountains proper. Other than that, we'll have pretty clear skies and very mild overnight lows. In fact, borderline warm, as we'll be near 70 in the Kittitas and Yakima valleys, near 70 as well for the lower Columbia Basin, and low to mid 70s for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. We'll essentially be just as hot for tomorrow, at least in the Tri-Cities. Now, the rest of the region could be a little bit cooler, but still way above average for this time of the year. And then more substantial drop off into Thursday and beyond, but still we're going to breach, in all likelihood, 100 degrees some more. So this is going to be a very prolonged heat wave, and just given that this will be sustained and extreme heat, our fields are going to turn very dry. And that's why we're going with a first alert extreme impact fire day, not just for today, but for the next 7 days, with special interest in Wednesday and Thursday, just given that it's going to be very windy and breezy. You can see the fire fuel energy for tomorrow is going to be maxed out, 99th percentile across the board, so a powder keg of an environment. And we're concerned about lightning-induced fire starts as well into Sunday and Monday. Here's the 7-day forecast for the Cascades, near 90 for today, back into the 70s by Thursday. For the Kittitas Valley an incredibly dangerous fire setup for Wednesday, just given how windy it's going to be. For the Yakima Valley, more bearable heat by Thursday, but still pretty hot as we'll be up around 100 degrees. For the lower Columbia Basin, a pair of 110s for Tuesday and Wednesday, slight relief by Thursday. And then for the foothills of the Blues, triple digits for Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 90s after that. And then for the Blue Mountains, very dry and a very concerning lightning setup for Sunday and Monday.
Thank you, Josh. And with the extreme temperatures scorching the state this week, many of us will be cranking up the AC to stay cool. But in some communities like Seattle, this heat is far less common. Brady Wakayama reports hardware stores on the west side are now struggling to keep up with the demand for fans and air conditioners.
I'd say maybe 1 out of every 4 persons coming into the store is looking for a way to cool down this summer.
Fans are the hot seller here at the Ace Hardware located in Seattle's Magnolia neighborhood.
There are a number of different fans that range, anywhere from the $20 range all the way up to about $150.
Tim Clark is the assistant manager of the store. He says the beginning of July is one of the busiest times of the year as customers look for ways to beat the heat.
I had no fans, nope. I didn't want to leave the windows open because it was just letting more hot air in, so that's why I'm here for some air conditioning.
Rick Krejci is one of those folks trying to find some relief.
Seeing this thing, so kind of Arctic air, cool thing. I think I'm going to buy this.
Although fans are blowing off the shelves, Clark says portable AC units are a hot commodity.
I have a number of calls from throughout the city because I think they're hard to find and they're getting harder to find. And people seem to wait till the last minute.
This location doesn't sell any in store, but Clark says people can find them online or at big box stores.
If you're looking for a unit that you can buy and install yourself, we're talking anywhere from a few $100s up to a few $1,000s.
For those looking to get central AC installed, King 5 discovered most HVAC businesses in town have an estimated range between $7,000 to $13,000. Clark just hopes people are able to stay safe as the summer heat continues.
All right, thanks so much.
Drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, and get a fan. Get a fan and cool off.
Reporting in Seattle, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
Up next on Good Morning Northwest, a movie that is legendary to anyone in the TV news industry. We're talking Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy, which turns 20 years old today. When we come back, we look back at the film, and Jessica and I will try our best Ron Burgundy impressions. Until then, keep it classy, Tri-Cities and Yakima.
Danny was rear-ended by a semi-truck. Serious injuries.
Mariano's reputation and experience gave him an advantage over the insurance company.
Daniel got paid a lot.
He lives up to his reputation, which is somebody who gets results.
Call 853-2222.
Smoke City for Less is your one-stop shop in Kennewick, Richland, West Richland, Hermiston, Road 68 in Pasco, and the new location on West Court Street. July 10th is a 710 sale from 8 to 10 p.m. at all 6 locations. This year is off the charts. Get 50% off glass. Free goodie bags for the first 300 people through the door. Free tacos from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. only at our Kennewick location. Don't miss the huge savings on the one-day July 10th 710 sale at all 6 locations. Smoke City for Less. We smoke the competition.
Indulge in Legends Casino's seafood buffet experience. Discover a feast of premium crab legs, succulent shrimp, and an array of delectable ocean-inspired dishes. Elevate your evenings with Legends Seafood Buffet every Thursday and Saturday starting at 4 p.m.
Drugs like Ozempic. So many people are using them or want to use them. If you're on these drugs, what should you eat to get the protein you need? How can they help with your heart health? And what's the best plan after hitting your goal weight? This week, GMA with the science behind it all for you.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider. So switch to Spectrum and get a powerful network that connects nearly 500 million devices.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with free modem, no data caps, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee when you level up to a gig. Call 1-855-735-1336 or scan to call.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming with the most reliable internet speeds. Plus. Get a powerful network that millions of customers rely on. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with 99.9% network reliability, no added taxes or hidden fees, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee. Call 1-855-735-1336.
Call now.
Danny was rear-ended by a semi-truck. Serious injuries.
Mariano's reputation and experience gave him an advantage over the insurance company.
Daniel got paid a lot.
He lives up to his reputation, which is somebody who gets results.
Call 853-2222.
Good Morning Northwest streams all day at AppleValleyNewsNow.com and our mobile apps.
How now, brown cow? Unique New York. Unique New York.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. You'll have to excuse us. We're just warming up for this next story. It was the movie that mocked not only the culture of the 1970s, but also threw zingers at our profession.
Today, anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy, turns 20 years old.
Can't believe it.
ABC's Danny News spoke to one of the many people whose careers it changed, the nationally respected broadcaster who served as the movie's narrator.
Stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Today, anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy, turns 20 years old.
Emmy Award-winning anchor, Ron Burgundy.
The comedy about a San Diego news team in the 1970s has become a classic in the last 2 decades.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
But on everyone's millionth rewatch of Will Ferrell's unpredictable news reads,
there was a time before cable.
They'll still first always be greeted by the voice of an actual legendary broadcaster.
There was a time before cable.
Back in the early 2000s, Emmy and Peabody winner Bill Curtis says he was largely retired from his decades-long career as a journalist.
Tonight, investigative reports.
When he hesitantly took a call from director Adam McKay.
Journalists don't do movies, though we didn't then. And I thought, oh God, this could be the end of a career.
Thankfully, he found the screenplay very funny.
Ms. Veronica Corningstone.
And could remember living through TV news in the 70s. For example, the main catalyst of the movie's plot is when women started finally getting more chances in the newsroom. And Curtis actually co-anchored with ABC News legend and pioneer Diane Sawyer in the early 80s.
She becomes the star. All of a sudden, the door is open.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago.
2 decades later, and now his role as anchorman's narrator has allowed this journalist to let loose and even become the voice of NPR's wildly popular game show, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Come get a taste.
And now, whenever he's introduced at an event.
And they say, in 50 years as a broadcast newsman, quiet. And he was the voice of Anchorman. And they will go crazy.
Such a classic movie.
So good. So many quotable lines.
Yes.
One of my favorites, I have to say, is when he's doing the mic test, like how we do. We're always like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's like, the bishop wore buttless chaps to the bat mitzvah. One of my favorites.
I just love the question mark in the prompter. I feel like I relate to that.
You do?
A little bit. If it's in the prompter, I'll read it.
Tomorrow we should do it that way.
No, don't test
I'm
me.
Jessica Jalal.
I'm Jill Sperling. Well, coming up on Good Morning Northwest, it's going to be a very hot day with temperatures potentially in the triple digits. We have where in Richland you can cool off poolside for a low price.
And speaking of that heat, Oregon is also dealing with it as the heat wave causes a total of 5 heat-related deaths. The details are next.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. So make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now.
Let Quantum Legal protect you and be your champion on the legal battleground. Whether it's a fight for justice in the face of criminal accusations, personal injury claims, or workplace accidents, Quantum Legal is your unwavering ally. An aggressive offense is your greatest defense. Quantum Legal is the sword and shield you've been seeking. Your best defense, Quantum Legal.
I help women with health issues, things like birth control, prenatal care, any GYN issue, and I really enjoy that. I love being a midwife. We try to personalize the care for each patient and individualize it. It's not one size fits all. Everybody has their own individual care plan.
These are real people seeking solutions to real problems.
I have plantar fasciitis.
Pain with my feet, my knees, knees, hips, and back.
And then they were fit with Good Feet arch supports.
I definitely feel the heel-to-toe walk.
I'm not feeling any pain, especially in my heel. That's where I always feel it.
I don't feel the knee pain. I didn't notice any pain in my back. I feel like I could walk all day in these.
Oh, you're a blessing in disguise.
Try them for yourself with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Downtown Summer Nights 2024, presented by Yakima Federal Savings and Loans. Mark your calendar for the last 3 Thursdays of June, July, and August. Join us at our new location, 15 West Yakima Avenue. It's time to make this summer the best one yet. Live music, local artists, and delicious food await. Bring the whole family for a night of fun and festivities, and for our guests over 21, don't miss out on our exclusive beer garden. Enjoy the best cocktails, wine, beer, and cider the Valley has to offer. For more details, visit downtownyakima.com.
Wild Horse Resort and Casino is shifting into high gear with the $160,000 Ultimate American Road Trip. Win free play gas cards or cruise your way up to $50,000 cash every Friday and Saturday. Earn entries every day and multiply them on select Mondays. Then, on July 27th, win a new Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Wild Horse Resort and Casino. More winners, more often.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. So make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now.
Take off over a fun park. Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Right now on Good Morning Northwest, what police are calling a mortar-style firework ends with a man's death after being hit in the back of the head with it. Where this happened, just ahead.
2 juvenile rehab centers in Washington are no longer taking in teens. We have the reason why coming up. And it's going to be a scorching hot day. We have where you can cool off, and get this, it's for a discounted rate.
And today will be a dangerous day when it comes to the heat, but also when it comes to fire concerns. I'll tell you why coming up right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Jill Sperling. It is Tuesday, July 9th. And Jessica, I have to tell you, the best thing about working this crazy early shift,
what?
We get to avoid the heat of the day.
Although I was sweating earlier, just getting ready and like doing my hair, and it's like hotter here than usual. It's usually freezing in the studio.
The air conditioning is having to work overtime.
I know, that's probably what it is. Well, we'll check in on your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Josh Culbreth. Josh, how hot are we getting today?
Very hot, and first of all, I do agree about that whole morning shift, because this isn't that bad. If we just froze the temperatures here, today would be pretty good. Unfortunately, the sun's coming up, and it's going to have something to say about that. But for right now, 50s and 60s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. We're also in the 50s and 60s for the lower Columbia Basin, and the mid to upper 60s for the foothills of the Blues. Some of us already starting to get into the 70s down this way. A little bit later today, we'll be up around 110 for the Tri-Cities, 110 for Hermiston, 108 for Ellensburg, and Yakima will be about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. So very dangerous heat, but also very dangerous fire conditions. The fuels are going to be very dry for today, which is why we're going with a first alert extreme impact fire day, not just for today, but also for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's just going to be one of those weeks, and we're especially concerned about Wednesday and Thursday, just given how breezy/windy it could be. So here's some tips to abide by for this upcoming week. Avoid tossing burning cigarettes on the ground. That is just unconscionable if you do that. Avoid parking hot vehicles on dry vegetation, and gather that fire evacuation kit in that go bag right now. And I'll show you, we do have some subtle relief from the heat on the way. It's not much, but it's some. I'll show you that coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. And now, as Josh was just telling us, it's going to be a very hot week here in Southeast Washington and Northeast Oregon.
And because of this, Richland Parks and Rec is offering the public a way to cool off on a budget. Admission at George Prout Pool will be $1 per person today from 3:45 until 5:30, and it's in celebration of National Parks and Recreation Month. Open swim fees usually range from $1.25 to $3.50 per person.
So hot. We were at the splash pad yesterday, but today we wanted to get some deep dive water today.
How are you dealing with the hot weather?
So good. I like it.
He likes it. He likes it.
I currently work at McDonald's just down the street here on Geo Way. And now, since it's summer, when I get done, I just come here. Better to save money, you know? And plus, since it is going to be 110 tomorrow, yeah, better to take an advantage to swim, you know?
To find more local ways to beat the heat, simply visit our website, applevalleynewsnow.com.
Turning to Oregon now, where the state is also dealing with this heat wave.
The extreme temperatures now believed to be responsible for at least 5 deaths statewide. 4 of those deaths are in Multnomah County, which includes Portland. Officials are now asking people to check on their family members and neighbors in the dangerous heat. And at-risk people should be using area cooling centers.
But certainly, you know, of the folks who passed away of suspected heat-related illness, you know, these are probably preventable deaths, you know, based on the fact that we assume that they probably would not have expired if they had had better cooling options. And so we're trying to ramp up and make sure people have those options right now.
Now, the temperatures aren't expected to reach as high as they did during a similar heat wave in the Pacific Northwest in 2021, which killed an estimated 600 people across Oregon, Washington, and Western Canada. Police in a Seattle suburb say a 45-year-old man is dead after being hit by a mortar-style firework. This as people were celebrating the 4th of July.
Police in Redmond say they got a call around 2:30 Friday morning about a 45-year-old man who had been hit in the back of the head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, all fireworks are illegal in Redmond, but police say a group had gathered to light them off in a parking lot. Redmond police told the ABC news station in Seattle that it appears the man's death was an accident.
More from the west side of the state. Washington is shutting down intake at 2 juvenile rehab facilities on the west side because officials say overcrowding has become a safety concern. The Washington Department of Children, Youth and Families says Echo Glen, which is in Snoqualmie, and Green Hill in Chehalis, will not be accepting any more teens at this time. The state also says they won't be releasing any of the teens that are being held at these centers. And kids who are convicted of crimes and sentenced will have to go into county jails instead of these specialized juvenile facilities. That is until they get some space opened up. Up next on Good Morning Northwest, the Columbians Drum and Bugle Corps hosted a performance on its Northwest tour at Lamson Stadium last night. But because of these extreme temperatures, members had to change some things up to keep themselves safe from the heat. Riley Fitzgerald talked with the members and has that story up next. We'll be right back.
Good Morning Northwest streams all day at applevalleynewsnow.com and our mobile apps.
Statistics show most traffic accidents happen a short distance from home, so stay alert and buckle up for safety. But if you get injured, call Allen Brecky Law Offices. Call 735-0546. They're waiting to help you.
Shelby's Floral, your homegrown neighbor with worldwide connections for over 45 years. Shelby's, more than just a flower shop, specializing in beautiful custom arrangements, live plants, silk florals, and home decor. We're unique and we're here for all life's occasions all year long. Shelby's Floral at the corner of Clearwater and Edison in Kennewick is still open, and we're having a sale. Stop by today and let our experienced designers help you with all of your floral needs. Shelby's Floral.
At Columbia Basin Buildings and Sheds, we've got you covered. We offer a variety of buildings and sheds that come with a 5-year limited warranty, free delivery, and setup. Whether you're ready to custom create your space or just need extra storage, we're here to help every step of the way. All in-stock buildings can be delivered within 7 to 10 days and custom builds in 3 to 4 weeks. So what are you waiting for? Find your perfect building or shed today with Columbia Basin Buildings and Sheds in West Richland.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
Swing into Fred's Appliance today for our 4th of July celebration and discover unbeatable deals on the largest selection of in-stock get-it-today inventory in our region. Elevate your laundry experience with this 2-in-1 washer and dryer combo, which lets you complete a large load of laundry in about 2 hours without needing to transfer the load. It's one and done. In stock and on sale for only $19.99. We sell appliances. Only appliances.
Statistics show most traffic accidents happen a short distance from home, so stay alert and buckle up for safety. But if you get injured, call Allen Brecky Law Offices. Call 735-0546. They're waiting to help you.
Take off for a bird's eye view of a fun Riverside Park.
We bring our bikes down here, we walk down here, and then when mommy's tired, we drive down here.
Fly the Northwest.
It's a huge accident. I really enjoyed it.
Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Dermatologists say that sleeping on wet hair can be very damaging.
How bad is it?
It's so bad.
Next Live, Ray Romano and Kate Upton from Dress My Tour.
Today at 9 on Apple Valley News Now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. There was quite the musical experience at Kennewick High School's Lamson Stadium last night. That was for Drums Along the Columbia.
Riley Fitzgerald takes us to the field after the record-breaking hot day to tell us what had to change for members when it came to accommodating for the extreme temperatures.
The Columbians Drum and Bugle Corps hosted its home performance on its Northwest tour here at Lamson Stadium in Kennewick. With extreme temperatures in the Tri-Cities, I talked with the team here about what they're doing to keep its membership cool. They say with the extreme temps, a lot of changes come to when and where they get to practice. Practices would have been happening here at Lamson Stadium, but instead, most of it took place inside Kennewick High School.
And so we typically as instructors we'll get together and flip around our schedules so that we go outside first thing in the morning when it's nice and cool, come back inside, do the things that we can do inside, and then return outside once the sun has gone down.
The schedule of events changed for the Columbians when record-breaking temps came through on the forecast, bringing practices indoors and switching a few things up.
The hardest things that we do as a full drum corps is our full ensemble rehearsal, where everyone's out on the field doing the full show practice. We try to get them doing that at the coolest temperatures, both earlier in the morning and later in the evening at night. And so we've definitely shifted things around just to make sure that our membership is completely safe and hydrated and accommodating for all of our kids who are not quite as used to this heat.
Heather Hill with the Benton Franklin Health District says heat exhaustion can turn into heat stroke in minutes in these conditions.
It really means keeping an eye out for each other. You personally may not notice that you're struggling, but somebody you're with might.
The biggest advice in weather like this, water, water, water. And the team is on it, ready to stay cool when outperforming in typical Tri-Cities summer heat.
Drink lots of water. that's the big one is drinking lots of water all the time, and we have Gatorade stations normally as well, and people have different items such as cooling towels, or we take shade breaks and things like that throughout the day to make sure that people are prepared to keep going.
Drums Along the Columbia took place last night, but those hot temperatures are continuing throughout the rest of the week, so keep those tips in mind when it comes to heat exposure and staying safe outdoors. Reporting in Kennewick, I'm Riley Fitzgerald for Good Morning Northwest.
And coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, not only were they feeling the heat, we'll also be all feeling it today if you haven't already.
When we return, Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth has your highs for today and your first alert full forecast.
Dishwasher on the fritz? Laundry giving you fits. A water heater that quits. In a world without Culligan, hard water makes life harder. Get a Culligan softener, the world's best. Put your water worries to rest.
You get hurt in a car wreck, and all of a sudden, you feel like there's a black cloud hanging over your life. You're in pain, and the insurance company doesn't want to pay. Call me, Attorney Mariano Morales. I have the power of more. Don't take that first offer when I can get you more, much more than they want to pay. And why go to court if you don't have to? And when they find out the heavy hitters on your side, well, you know, blue skies. Injured? Call me, Attorney Mariano Morales, because helping you is what I do.
Call 853-2222.
Visit us at our new urban wine bar in historic downtown Kennewick. Choose from a variety of wines and food from our expanded menu. Enjoy time with friends old and new. After hours with riverfront views from our shaded patio, we are Murray Gaston Wine Bar.
When it comes to your health, timing is everything. Health First Urgent Care is your reliable healthcare solution, locally owned and operated, providing care to our community. With locations in Pasco and Richland, we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No need to wait in long lines or rush to the ER for minor concerns. At Health First Urgent Care, we've got you covered with on-site x-rays and short wait times. Your health is our priority. Walk-ins are welcome. You can get the care you need when you need it. Health First Urgent Care, because your well-being comes first.
Something is weird. Look around. All possible Triple Play customers are perfectly represented right now.
Wait, really?
There's the family, the group of adult friends, kids on their school trip,
and the first date couple, and the grandparents with their grandkids.
It's just too perfect. I knew it. They're shooting a commercial.
I thought we were better than that.
Triple Play has fun attractions for everyone, including go-karts, mini golf, and many more, all attached to a cozy hotel.
We just thought...
If it's hidden, you might get bitten.
This is Rhonda. She's a soul line dance instructor. And this is Rhonda's Good Feet story.
I love dancing, but I had foot pain and hated the fact that I had to sit out a couple dances. But since visiting the Good Feet store and wearing the arch supports, I definitely have not felt the pain. I am able to dance longer, feel happier. My energy levels have increased. Once that energy gets into you and you're feeling good, double stands.
Get back out there with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
Communist China poses an economic and national security threat to America.
And Dan Newhouse is the leader in Congress fighting for our security.
Dan stood up to Communist China and wrote the bill to stop them from buying up American farms and ranches.
And Dan's working to secure the border and stop the flow of deadly Chinese fentanyl through Mexico and into our communities.
Where Joe Biden fails us, Dan Newhouse fights for us.
I'm Dan Newhouse, and I approve this message to stand up to Communist China and to secure our border.
Take off over a fun park. Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Right now you're taking a live look at the Columbia River and you can see some haze off in the distance. It will be hazy today. A lot of that coming from the Pioneer Fire that's burning right off of Lake Chelan. Not thinking that air quality is going to be too impacted though. Right now, very comfortable temperatures, 50s and 60s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. The same thing for the lower Columbia Basin. And we're getting up into the upper 60s now, pretty consistently in the foothills of the Blues with some 70s mixed in down this way. A little bit later today, it is going to be a very hot one. We're going to be up around 110 for the Tri-Cities and for Hermiston, 108 for Ellensburg and Yakima, 105 for Walla Walla. We're going to be about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. So please keep it safe out there in regards to the heat. Just another look at that. And also, you know, of course we're concerned about the heat, but we're also concerned about fire fuel energy, as fire fuel energy for today compared to historical values is going to be way up there, up into the 98th percentile for Kittitas and Yakima counties, up into the 96th percentile for the lower Columbia Basin, and then up into the 95th percentile for the Blue Mountains. So we need everyone to be on their P's and Q's today, not only when it comes to heat safety, but also as it pertains to fire safety. Now for tonight, skies will continue to be clear. Overnight lows will be just about as mild as what we're dealing with for this morning, if not even milder / warmer. We'll be up around 70 for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. Same thing for the lower Columbia Basin, and then low to mid 70s for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. At least in the Tri-Cities, will be just about as hot for tomorrow, still about 20 degrees above average. Now, the rest of the viewing area could be a smidge cooler and then substantially cooler for Thursday and beyond. But look, we'll still be above 100 degrees in the Tri-Cities. And just given that this is going to be such a prolonged, sustained heat wave, that means that our fuels are going to turn very dry, which is why we're going with a first alert extreme impact fire day, not just for today, but also for Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. It's going to be one of those weeks we're especially concerned about Wednesday and Thursday, given some of the winds. And here are some of the metrics for Wednesday. Fire fuel energy up into the 99th percentile compared to history for Kittitas and Yakima counties, up into the 99th percentile for the lower Columbia Basin, and up into the 99th percentile for the Blue Mountains. So the scale, the fire fuel energy scale, is going to be maxed out for tomorrow. And we're also concerned about fire starts in the way of lightning for Sunday and Monday. So just a lot to deal with over these next 7 days. Here's the 7-day forecast for the Cascades. Near 90 for today, but back down to earth into the 70s by Thursday. For the Kittitas Valley, an incredibly dangerous fire setup for Wednesday, just given how windy we're going to be. Then for the Yakima Valley, more bearable heat by Thursday, but still pretty hot, up around 100 degrees. And then for the lower Columbia Basin, we'll see a pair of 110s for Tuesday and Wednesday, but slight relief by Thursday. For the foothills of the Blues, triple digits for Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 90s after that. And then for the Blue Mountains, very dry and a very concerning fire setup, just given some of those lightning chances for Sunday and Monday.
Thank you, Josh. In a consumer alert, there's a frozen chicken recall to tell you about today.
Alsafa U.S. is recalling more than 2,000 pounds of frozen ready-to-eat chicken products, according to a notice from the USDA. Routine testing found the Alsafa halal chicken products may be contaminated with listeria.
There have been no reports of illnesses, but the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service says the recalled chicken should not be eaten. The products were produced in Canada and imported to the U.S. last month. And we'll be right back with the morning sprint and a final check on your forecast.
But first, a look at what's ahead on Good Morning America.
In this morning's GMA First Look, big box store price war.
Which one's really cheaper, Costco or Sam's Club?
They're ramping up their fight for your dollars.
Now that you've got your Sam's Club membership at an awesome price, let me show you how to put that to good use.
For first-time members, Sam's Club is currently slashing their sign-up price to $25 until the end of August. That's more than half off the annual membership of one of their biggest competitors, Costco.
When it comes to the competition between Sam's Club and Costco, it's extremely fierce. They are trying to entice that customer to come over and shop with them and stay shopping with them. So that is why you're seeing a lot of these perks now from Sam's.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you the strategies you need to make this big box competition work for you. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Moving forward with node-positive breast cancer, my fear of recurrence could have held me back. But I'm staying focused and doing more to prevent recurrence.
Verzenio is specifically for HR-positive, HER2-negative, node-positive early breast cancer with a high chance of returning as determined by your doctor when added to hormone therapy. Verzenio reduces the risk of recurrence versus hormone therapy alone. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an antidiarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsening trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be.
I'm focusing on what counts.
Talk to your doctor about reducing your risk.
Now, the morning sprint.
Welcome back. Time right now is 6:52.
We're going to get to your first alert forecast in a moment, but we begin with a look at this morning's top stories.
Starting off, hundreds of Kennewick irrigation customers were left without water.
Now, this water disruption was not due to the new mandatory watering schedule for residents, which went into effect Sunday. The Kennewick Irrigation District received hundreds of calls into its dispatch system yesterday morning about the lack of water. KID says about 50% of the calls it fielded Monday was from a system issue with the lack of pressure, most likely due to vegetation clogging up the system. Some customers still have no water, but that's expected to be resolved within the next 24 to 48 hours.
An update now to a story we've been following for weeks. A missing 2-year-old girl has been found safe in Mexico more than a month after her father, Aaron Ong of Moscow, Idaho, failed to return her to her mother on June 3rd. Ong is now being held in Arizona, awaiting extradition back to Whitman County on a warrant for custodial interference. A few days before Ong and his daughter went missing, so did his fiancée, Nadia Cole of Pullman, Washington. She disappeared from SeaTac Airport on May 29th and was found with them in Mexico. Cole was deported back to the U.S. The three were detained about an hour-and-a-half drive south of the border at a roadside checkpoint over the weekend. As of now, the child is with Arizona Child Protective Services, and detectives are working to reunite her with her mom.
The Benton County Sheriff's Office has released more information about a crash on the 4th of July that killed a deputy prosecutor, his wife, and 2 of their 3 children. The Sheriff's Office says it appears the deputy prosecutor, Bradley Bartlett, did not stop at the intersection of Travis Road and Sellards Road. Also, a man driving west on Sellards Road was also involved in the crash. The Sheriff's Office says it does not appear that either driver was under the influence, and it does appear that everyone was wearing seatbelts. The second driver and the deputy prosecutor's young son were the only ones to survive the crash. Both are now out of the hospital.
Kennewick fire crews were called out to battle another fire along Columbia Park Trail yesterday afternoon. It's the second fire in that area within less than a week. Fire crews responded to the Columbia Park near the abandoned campgrounds around 2 p.m. The fire was under control within an hour and only a small area was burned. Firefighters don't know the cause of the fire just yet.
In Oregon, the extreme temperatures are now believed to be responsible for at least 5 deaths statewide. 4 of those deaths are in Multnomah County, which includes Portland. Officials are now asking people to check in on their family members and neighbors in the dangerous heat, and at-risk people should use area cooling centers. The temperatures aren't expected to reach as high as they did during a similar heat wave in the Pacific Northwest in 2021, which killed an estimated 600 people across Oregon, Washington, and Western Canada.
Washington is shutting down intake at 2 juvenile rehab facilities because overcrowding has become a safety concern. That's according to officials. The Washington Department of Children, Youth and Families says Echo Glen, which is in Snoqualmie, and Green Hill and Chehalis will not be accepting any more teens at this time. The state also says they will not be releasing any of the teens being held at these centers. And kids who are convicted of crimes and sentenced will have to go into county jails until they get some space opened up.
Richland Parks and Rec is offering the public a way to cool off on a budget. Admission at George Prout Pool will be $1 per person today from 3:45 until 5:30. It's in celebration of National Parks and Recreation Month. Open swim fees usually range from $1.25 to $3.50 per person, again for $1 today.
And speaking of that heat, let's check in with Josh Colbreth for a final look at your first alert forecast this morning. Hey, Josh.
Hello. Yeah, today is going to be an excellent day to be poolside. More importantly, to be in the pool. You're going to want to cool off, of course, and we'll show you some of these hot temperatures in a second. But first, for this morning, 50s and 60s for the Kittitas and Yakima Valleys. The same thing for the lower Columbia Basin. Mid to upper 60s for the foothills of the Blues. It looks like the numbers just updated, and now there's a good deal of us that are in the 70s. All right, now on to temperatures for later in the day. 110 for Hermiston, 110 for Tri-Cities, 105 for Walla Walla. This is objectively very hot stuff. Will be about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. If you're going to take the pets on a walk for today, the earlier the better. Of course, stay hydrated, try to find shade when you can, and check on those vulnerable populations, especially the elderly. We're going to be just about as hot for Wednesday, a little bit cooler for Thursday through Monday, but this sustained, prolonged heat wave is going to make our fuels very dry, which is why we're going with the first alert extreme impact fire day for today through Monday for the entirety of the viewing area. So be sure that you are not tossing burning cigarettes on the ground, that you're not parking hot vehicles on dry vegetation, and I would start to gather that fire evacuation kit now.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you for waking up with us and watching Good Morning Northwest. GMA is next.
Your local news is back tonight at 5, and you can always find the latest updates on our website, applevalleyNewsNow.com.
Stay classy, Tri-Cities and Yakima.